So you pretty much already know kind of what's back there behind it.
There's all one.
Actually, we'll look on that. I don't have that one finished yet, so this one should be. All right. So pillow speaker wise, and you can look at that one over there too. Everything, I don't know what nurse call system you currently have in the other one. You guys selected West Call, which we interface with at some other facilities in the area. So they, these are the pillow speakers that you will need to work with our interactive TV system. There's a particular model number that's on the back of it, made by Kerbell. You do have, because of the Westcon, this has nothing to do with me, but you do have the pane and the toilet and nurse call buttons on there that they can ring out to the nurses. All these other buttons on here, you can either turn the TV on and off, volume up, down, channel up, down, closed caption and mute. Those are all standard, functions, as well as your 0 through 9 keypad. The menu in the back and then the 4 arrows in the OK, if you'll think of that sort of like an internet page. So you're sitting there, you go to google.com and you're Googling something, right? You hit, if you want to go back one page, you hit the back arrow to go back a page, right? Same thing as if you hit the back button. The menu button is kind of like your home page. So if you want to go to Google, you're out 4 or 5 layers deep into the internet. You hit the home button, it'll take you all the way back to your home page. That's kind of what the menu button is, right?
And that's the home page.
Yeah, that's your main menu home page. So the 4 arrows in the OK is sort of like a mouse, to where you can go up, down, side to side, and click or enter is the OK button. Right? Make sense? Okay. And then on the side, there's a headphone jack on the side. This especially comes in handy for rooms that may have dual patient beds and large screen TVs, just like this one right here. Because, if you're in the room with me, maybe it's decent. If you're in with my stepdad, it's 99, volume 99. So anyway, but whenever they turn the TV on, they should see this main menu screen that's going to come up. And it's just going to be, welcome to the hospital. Notice in the bottom left-hand corner, you see the temperature outside, partly cloudy. This is room 2-212A. That one over there is going to say B on it. And then you've got your date and your time that's current there on the bottom right-hand corner.
That automatic daylight savings.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's being pulled off of a server, so it's all automated. Yeah. So in order to maneuver through these menu screens, just keep in mind these arrows and the OK button. I'm showing you this just because you're going to walk into a room and people are going to ask these questions, right? This is the 10-minute version of this part that I'm going to give to the nursing staff, because they'll need to understand how to function the TV, with the pillow speaker. And so anyway, these arrows, if I just arrow over one, just hit the blue arrow over to the right, notice that the highlight's moving across the screen, okay? And then I go back up to the first one. Now this is the English set of menus. Notice at the bottom right-hand corner, or bottom center, it says info for your stay. That's the one that's highlighted. That changes as I maneuver through them, okay? If I go and I hit the OK button now to hit enter, it takes me into 3 objects inside of this. One is services for you, the next one's for your visitors, and the next one's going home. So if I back up to services for you and I hit the enter button, the OK button, it takes me into spiritual care, social services, advanced directives, and parking. And if I want to know something about them, I just hit the OK button and it takes me in and explains to me, just to ask the nurse about a chaplain if you want to talk to somebody. Now at this point, if I hit this back button, that's taking me back a page, right? Then I can go over and check out social services. Notice on the right-hand side, there's an up and down scroll bar, so I can, adjust down to see the rest of the screen through the arrows again. If I hit the back button, and same thing here for advanced directives, we respect each person's right to participate, blah, blah, blah. Tell your nurse you'd like to talk to a social worker, okay? So these are just informative menu screens is really all that they are. For your visitors here again, just like visiting hours, smoking policy, Wi-Fi access, that kind of stuff. Under the most important thing that everybody wants to know is how do I get to the TV, right? So there's two ways to get to the TV. Number one is just hit the channel up or down button on the pillow speaker right from this menu, and it'll take me out to the TV channel, and it takes me to the last channel that I was on. These little icons across the bottom hopefully will help them understand that they're on ABC or whatever the case may be. Now, they can use the arrows back and forth to maneuver, or they can hit the channel up and down button to maneuver, whatever they want to do, okay? If they hit the channel up and down button, just for your knowledge base, if I hit the channel up and down button, it actually changes the channel to the next one. If I just use the arrows, I can kind of just scroll over, and it doesn't select it until I hit the OK button, right? And then, let me go back into that. So notice that I can just kind of scroll across the bottom, but it never changes what I'm watching up at the top, but it allows me to see the icons to see, you know, what's going on right here. So if I wanted to stop at Comedy Central, now I hit the OK button, and the OK button takes me into Comedy Central. Now, as I said earlier, the same thing's playing on every channel. If I hit 3 and OK, that takes me right to a particular channel, so I can use the 0 through 9 keypad and hit the OK button, and boom, it just takes me right to the channel. Now this will be this is the legitimate channel lineup of what it's going to be whenever they activate all the channels, and you're going to have a 2-hour window there of what programming is coming next, which is really nice. So this is all based off of DirecTV, and this is on channel 3. Okay, so your first channel is 2, which is Fox. And the reason that we did it the way we did it is because your real local channel 2 is 2,
Right.
and you didn't have a 3, so we just slotted the channel guide into 3. Okay, so if you notice here that 4 is actually on 4, 5's on 5, 7's on 7, so it skips 6 because you don't have a local 6. 9's 9, 11's 11, 14's 14. Then you've got 26, and what I did was I started all the cable type channels at 27. Okay, and so you're going to see skips in there, but don't worry, those are on purpose, right? Because they were so at 27 I started A&E, and then what I did was I got to go back now because I was just scanning. If you notice here, I'm going to go like 32, 35, boom, 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 and then when you get up to was it 46 or 48? Your local. 48. Okay, so there's another local laced into it, TMO HD. And then 66 is another local, and that's the very last channel on the lineup. Let me think for a minute.
Let's see, Golf Channel, dude.
Yeah. so notice right here at 56, if you notice that 56 is CCTV, this is where the like Chinese type channels, the GZTV, Phoenix TV, Phoenix Hong Kong channel. We haven't found the little icons for those yet. That's why it just says TV on it. If we can find them, then we'll lace those in. And then notice, you know, those are where some of the international channels are. And then 66 is your local 66, and then it rolls back to channel 2 again. So I left all the locals on the locals because that's one complaint a lot of people have.
Because we were talking about possibly having it where the patients have to acknowledge that they've been read their patient rights before they can watch TV. Is anyone talking about
Well,
that? It's kind of a secondary form
Yeah.
of acknowledgement.
right. So we are connected to your ADT information, you know, your admission, discharge, transfer information. So we know that, like my name's Kelly, that Kelly's laying in bed 1, you know, in this room in 212. You know, trying to get them to actually interface with the TV before they can watch the TV usually becomes pretty problematic more than anything. I'll be honest with you. I think there were some discussions way early on. You may want to get that model number on the back right there. But nothing in the past 6 months have we discussed anything about. And Peggy your CNO, she was integral in building out all the menus and the health education, and Michelle was part of it, so. Anyway, so, one thing I forgot on the pillow speaker I just noticed is notice that you've got, well, this one's not wire, oh, there it is. You've got light controls for the read, lamps over the head of the bed here on the pillow speaker.
Which one is that?
Well, you've got, it says light, it's light, like light 1 and 2.
And take a look at the module right behind Steve.
Oh,
There it
yeah.
is as well.
Yeah, so there's your reading light, ambient light, and exam light. So you
So-
can just reach over and punch.
These, the volume, is it gonna be, do we have speakers in these beds or no? We're
No.
gonna either have the TV live or they're gonna have to headphone it.
Right. Yeah,
Or
everything's
this.
gonna be
This is a
right.
speaker.
This is where
Why you
everything's
gonna
gonna be.
And there's a speak, that
Oh,
is
yeah,
a,
yeah, I'm sorry.
there
I
is
just
a
have
speaker
the-
there as well, okay.
Every time they turn the TV off and back on, I have the volume starting at 15. I mean, you can hear it, but it's just very low,
Okay,
right? Because I don't want it coming on last volume, because if it does that, somebody may have had it on 80.
Right.
And in that way, you know, I mean, we can notice over on the left-hand side as I'm turning the volume up.
Okay. So that answered my question, it's in the pillow.
Yeah, everything's right here.
You ever spent any time in a hospital bed? Look healthy, huh?
Well, used to the hospital beds, yeah, you controlled everything through it, but
From the
now-
bed, yeah.
Well, that's how our
Back
current
in-
hospital, the beds have
Right.
speakers in the slide downs.
Right, but with the new stuff that we're putting in, everything's controlled out of this, so the
So
the
much
bed's
scary.
not, the bed's not gonna have,
A
have
speaker,
that.
no
Yeah.
speaker on the
Yeah.
back.
No Dolby 5.1 in here, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if I wanna get back, I just hit the menu button and that takes me back out of TV, back to the menu screens, okay?
Okay.
Real quick, there will be a couple of games. As we build out more games for this, they will add them to the game section. Currently, there's this number game that's
Is that Sudoku or similar?
similar. It's kind of fun, but then the Connect Four, everybody played this as a kid, right? I mean, you know, and so you sit here and you can go through and play, and the yellow competes against you. And we have some others we're working on. This platform is kind of new, so we don't have a whole lot built out. Then under the Sounds of Nature, this is a big one for the nurses that I'm going to show them tomorrow. This is a relaxation thing where everybody will need to pee on this one. But on your Sounds of Forest Streams, all three of those movies, you have the option of a 30-minute, 60-minute, 90-minute, or 120 minutes. Depends on how long you want to set it on. So if I wanted to go over to 120 minutes, and I just hit the OK button, and then I hit the OK button again to play, then it starts the movie, gives me the little how to control the video. Because you can fast forward, rewind, quit the movie, all through the arrows and stuff. And it tells me that the TV is going to go black. And then hear the stream running, right? So anyway, the screen goes black, and you just got ambient noise playing, you know, next to you, just kind of a, you know, relaxation kind of a thing. There's one that's I'm just gonna hit the back button, and the back button gets me out of this. Wow, somebody's wearing me out with text messages. Not your IT gentleman. Okay, and so you've also got the Signs of the Forest Streams, you got ocean waves, and you got thunderstorms or summer rains.
Is there an option to allow the screen to stay with the
No, these are.
picture, or they have to go black?
Yeah, these are, now, I'll get to the other style in a second. These are just sounds of nature, something to kind of calm and relaxing, but no video, because especially at nighttime, you may want to drift off to sleep with it going or something. Now, under the health education, there's 3 sections here. You've got the English section, notice down at the bottom, down there, English. You've got a Cantonese and Mandarin. Then these next 5 videos are Bedtime Beats, The Secret to Sleep, Healing Hawaii, Redwood Coast, Underwater Visions, and Walking in Beauty. So if you play one of these films, these I think are average of 55 minutes, I was going to say an hour. And this is what you get, right? It's just music, scenery playing in the background, and this is what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah. So what do you call it, whenever you convert them from English to Cantonese or Mandarin, or translate, yeah, sorry. Having a brain lapse there for a minute, but anyway, so you could just go through here, pick the video that you want, and then I'm just using the arrows again to maneuver and hit the OK button, and then it takes you in and you hit the OK button again to play, and it pulls the video up and it starts. Is it correct?
Mm-hmm.
Good, all right. That's a good thing. Because I could, this is something I can't QA, so that's a good thing. And then, of course, they do have them in the Mandarin dialect also. So now there's only 4 in this one because there wasn't as many in this dialect. But, and it's very difficult actually to find videos that are either in either version. So we were very hard pressed with Peggy trying to find different dialects and things in the 2 that she wanted.
Basically, you
Yeah.
got a lot outside, you know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, everything's either English or Spanish, right? That's the standard that we deal with from a health education. Those are the 2 biggies. So if you've got 100 titles in English, normally about 80 to 90% of them are converted to Spanish also. But to find anything in Chinese and especially into Cantonese and Mandarin, it was like a very small percentage. So there was actually a company out there, I think it's Blosson is the name of the company, and they're actually translating those videos for the hospital. There's a charge to it, but they're charging, a certain dollar amount per minute for the videos, but they're gonna do, I think there's a total of about 50 altogether that they're gonna wind up doing for the hospital.
And one question, in the IT department, why he can download something from the internet and put it on right here?
No, not really. I mean,
They'll come
yes
for a
and
small fee.
yeah, yes and no. So there were some of these titles or some of these videos that Peggy came to us and said, hey, there's some YouTube videos that I found. And so we downloaded them and put them on the system so it can be done. The problem is the quality is not very good, right? And so, matter of fact, let me see. The hospice video, I think, happens to be one that, and I don't know if this is, which one's this one. And
So these are all health-related videos?
Yeah. Everything that's on the system.
I thought they were like
is health.
movies or something.
You can add that
Right.
if the hospital wants to pick
Sure.
up that charge, but there's everything that's currently on your system is strictly just health education. Yes, you can add the first run type movies and they can,
Yeah, it's like a
they can
premium
watch those.
charge for that.
But, those are,
Per paper use or something?
well, I mean, you don't want to charge your patients
Right.
anymore for anything extra.
Yeah, that's why
And
they
so
don't
the
get, they're not gonna
hospital
get
has
it.
to absorb those costs, but I mean, that's a few $1,000s
Sure,
a month.
yeah.
That, that it would cost to put, say, 30 or 40 titles on here. And some hospitals do it, some hospitals don't. It just really depends on, the economics of everything.
Right.
So, under this how to use the TV, this is only in English. We don't have it translated, but this is just a very generic PowerPoint presentation on how to use the pillow speaker and how to. Now that's a list format menu. This is about 3 years old. I told them we needed to update it because now we have icons on the screen. But anyway, that's actually an Anacom MedTech pillow speaker, and this is a Kerbel pillow speaker. But I mean, you get the idea of how to use the OK button and the arrows and all that kind of stuff. Same basic setup. Because some hospitals use Anacom MedTech, some hospitals use Kerbel, depends on which direction. Then the last button here takes these menu screens and flips them to Chinese. So if you were to go in here, then the titles at the bottom and up at the top are all going to be same in here.
all you have to do just stay on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll have to learn how to
Yeah.
hit the Chinese button.
Yeah.
Can you show that again from the beginning, from like the home screen?
So this is your welcome screen, and it's always coming up in the English section, right? But if you just arrow straight down with the arrow button to Chinese and hit the OK button, it flips you into the Chinese menus. Now, if they turn the TV off and back on, they just have to go down one button to Chinese, and then it flips them back to that. But it always will come
So
up.
all the menus gonna be in Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like now, if you go in here and you, go into one of these sections, notice that all the text, instead of being in English, is in Chinese. So,
And then,
does that one say you can smoke everywhere or not? smoke?
I mean,
Just check.
anywhere,
Yeah.
you cannot.
Yeah.
And even the electronic smoke is not allowed.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And that's why they say,
Yeah, no, I know you
can
said
see
it in
the
the English
Chinese,
section
you know.
too, yeah. Yeah, actually, when we built out all of the English menus, then Peggy had somebody local, translate all of
Okay.
these, yeah, for you.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And then right now, you go back to the TV right there. Yeah. And TV, right?
Yeah, so. and
Go to
That's
the
TV,
TV.
Yeah, now, I know, all of that's in English.
No, I
But-
mean, that is okay.
Yeah.
But all the, I think the patient just hear, couple channel, like a local 26,
Right,
do
so,
you have the 26?
so all you gotta do is do 26
Uh-huh.
and enter, or okay, and it's gonna take you right to independent KTSF 26.
Okay, because this one right here is Chinese,
Oh,
from,
okay.
I think it's from 6 o'clock afternoon,
Oh, okay.
and then all the way to midnight.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Chinese.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that's not Chinese right now.
No, right now we're on just DirecTV's promo page.
Yeah.
Okay,
Every
So,
channel's the same.
once you get up here to, like these 50s, these are all I know about these channels is that DirecTV told me they're international channels. I have no idea what they are. I'm gonna assume that when we get to like this GZTV, Phoenix Hong Kong channel, these are also,
Yeah,
Chinese speaking channels, I'm
Uh-huh,
assuming, right?
uh-huh,
Okay,
uh-huh.
okay.
And then also, right now, you got one more is more important than the local 26.
Right.
It's the J channel. I don't know you got it right here. or
What's
not.
it called?
J channel.
Jay?
J, JADE.
Jade.
Yeah.
Oh, Jade.
Oh, Jade, I have no idea.
Is that a local channel or is it a DirecTV channel?
Basically, that is Hong Kong TV.
So-
From Hong Kong,
So,
I don't know. the
I
difference.
don't have a clue what any of those are. Now, anything besides 26
Uh-huh.
and these right here, those are the only international channels. Now,
Okay,
this
so-
one, this 66 is TFT?
Okay, do you have the, go up to 360?
No, no.
No, huh?
No, so what we're doing is DirecTV, somebody here at the hospital, and I'm assuming it was probably Keith and Peggy and Michelle, somebody, selected the channel lineup of what they wanted to have, right? And I don't know who all had input into it, but this was a selection. Now, I don't know if DirecTV, do they have the option for that channel?
Because right now in the old hospital, they got the J channel.
Yeah, but that's coming from your local cable company, not from DirecTV, right?
I think it's Comcast.
I
It's
think
Comcast.
Your local
Yeah.
cable company.
Well,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
DirecTV satellite though, right? No, DirecTV is not satellite.
Comcast is a cable company, and DirecTV and Dish Network are a satellite company.
Right, that's what I
Uh-huh,
said, I said
uh-huh.
DirecTV satellite.
Not if it's Comcast.
I didn't know.
No, DirecTV.
DirecTV is satellite, but
Right.
Comcast is cable.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
And you have Comcast.
We
in
have
that building.
Comcast now, so that could be, it may not be offered from DirecTV,
Yeah,
but
I have
I can
no
check.
idea.
I have
I
DirecTV
think
at home.
I think
can check.
DirecTV, is still got the Hong Kong channel.
Yeah.
But that's only
You'll have
if
to talk to
somebody
the-
approved it.
But wouldn't that be, where did it go?
Who approved? I mean, maybe.
But wouldn't that be
Maybe
like,
it's
like
the Phoenix,
this?
Hong Kong, maybe that's it.
No,
Maybe that's what they call it.
Totally different. Totally different.
Okay.
Because that one right here is like a 24 hours
Okay.
on Chinese.
Yeah, now those channels, these right here that I was talking about, that currently just have these little TV markers
Uh-huh.
that say iCable Financial, GZTV, Phoenix TV. These are all international channels coming from overseas.
So it may be one of those that just doesn't, they have the same moniker as what
Yeah.
you're, from Comcast, they may call it something different.
Yeah.
So I mean, then you got some problem right here.
Yeah.
Well, either
All the-
way, down the road, you can always add channels, right?
If for some reason that it changed, or, let me back up. If for some reason DirecTV offers it and somebody tells DirecTV, I don't have anything to do with them,
Right.
okay? Other than the fact that I helped the hospital find somebody besides Comcast to be in here. I hire them, they selected them, they did all that kind of stuff. I'm just interfacing with them to display their channel lineup, right?
Okay.
But if somebody tells them, like Michelle, if she says, hey, do you have this Jade channel, and what's the option of being able to put it on our system, they could drop one of these other channels and put that in if they offer it.
Oh,
Now, I don't know if they
You gotta
offer
find
it,
out
or
if
they do or
DirecTV
they
even
don't.
offers JTV.
I mean,
They
it
don't-
can be
They
done.
do.
Do they?
Yeah.
I know
It
it.
can be
It can be done.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can be done.
Then
Yeah.
it can be done, you just gotta tell Brenda that you wanna change.
Yeah.
I tell you this one right here, all the patients, you know, is the only TV they watch.
Right.
No, no, I know, I know.
You got right here, even you got a million channel, you know, they
Yeah.
not even watch.
Right.
They just watch the Chinese,
Yeah.
Right,
you know, and
I know.
Hong Kong TV.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's alright. It's
so
Right.
anyway, that's basically what I'm gonna show the nursing staff tomorrow. Okay, what I wanted to show you guys from a technical standpoint, this, you guys know, I mean, this,
Plug it in,
but this
it works.
isn't even me. I'm just saying, you know, you're getting a new pillow speaker, there's a junction point there as a quick release if, you know, if sometimes these are wired in, hung into the beds and they pull the bed out, you know. You know what that does, right?
So that's a light
This is
bulb?
just a, boom, it's just, I
Light
mean.
bulb quick release, okay.
Yeah, and then it just goes back together in the green. Now, whenever it pulls, it sets an alarm off,
Okay.
right? And as soon as you go back into it, then everything's cool.
They no reset, you don't need reset.
The green light, you saw the green light blinking? Yeah.
And then,
That's gonna be huge.
yeah, and then I learned something about, see these lights right here that are on? I was walking, as I've been walking around the building working on these TVs, I've noticed that sometimes I saw the lights on, sometimes I didn't. So I called the guy yesterday and was talking to him from the nurse call company. I said, why am I seeing these lights in some rooms and some not? And he goes, it depends on how much sunlight's in the room. They're like night lights, so if it's dark enough, they come on. If it's not, then they go out or whatever. So anyway, that makes sense to
Were
me.
you here for the nurse calls?
No.
Now, is that a speaker on the wall panel also?
Yes, that's,
Yeah, probably.
yeah, I believe it is, and that goes through the intercom on the west hall for the
Right.
nurses station.
Yeah.
So it's
So
for the
station-
nursing call.
The nurse can talk to them, it's a mic as well, so they
Yeah,
can talk back
well,
and
and
forth.
this is also used as a speaker and a mic.
Okay.
For the nurse call?
Yeah.
Okay,
And right here is the code blue.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one you hit to
Oh,
make
okay.
everybody come running.
Oh. So that we,
What's the E? The triangle.
Emergency?
I assume, yeah, what's different between that and that? Well, unless maybe that's.
That could be the nurse, just like hitting the
No,
red
if you-
button
If
here.
you hit the red button there.
That's the
it makes
green one right
green
there.
come on. Just hit it. Yeah, see, that may, there's a series of lights, those 4 lights in diagonal, and I have no idea what
I want
each one of
to
them, just hit the cancel it, yeah. That's really outside my domain, that's Westfall.
Can you press that
I
E?
just have worked
See
in
what
this
happens.
business 20 years,
Or
so
the
I
E.
learned a whole lot of all that
The E.
stuff.
Sure,
What color lights outside? That's yellow, that might be for bathroom or something. I can't, there's a code.
Yeah, yeah.
See the different colored flashing lights?
What'd you
I
do?
videoed all this, see, when the nurse call, I was at the nurse
Okay.
call training. And each color up there.
Yeah, it
what
means
does
something.
Means something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what yellow flash means, because I missed the first half hour of the training.
All right, well, let me show you here real quick, 'cause I
Okay.
know you guys probably don't have a ton of time, so this is our new technology called E3 that we're doing, and what we've done is we've piggybacked onto the smart TV that's a hospital grade. So this happens to be a Samsung, they do make an LG model too, that's a smart TV hospital grade. Just for your edification, the only thing that really makes them a hospital grade is number one, they have the nurse call circuit to tie it to the pillow speaker to be able to use. as well as they typically always have these green dot power cords on them, a little beefier power cord, and that's really what is the gist of what makes them hospital grade. But anyway, because we are doing what's referred to as IPTV, does anybody, IPTV for your DirecTV, do you understand what that means? Okay, let me
Internet
explain.
protocol.
Okay, currently, in the old building, you have Comcast, and everything runs through a piece of coax, right? They built out an infrastructure in this campus for coax that is not gonna be used, okay?
Oh.
They were still back and forth with, to trying to decide, I think, whenever the plans were put in, they just told them to go ahead and pull on the coax, because they didn't know what they were gonna do. And that's pretty normal, you know, with a lot of hospitals and companies, but anyway, with this system, DirecTV, they have a server that's downstairs in the data center. They're gonna have 2 dishes on the roof eventually, one's for international, one's for more local, you know, US stuff. And there's coax already pulled down to the data center. And have you been in the data center downstairs, anybody?
Yes,
If you
we
walk-
didn't take a look.
Yeah, if you walk all the way to the back wall, just walk straight, make a right, go all the way to the last rack down on the right-hand side, that's where the DirecTV guys have their stuff, right? You'll need to ask whomever your boss is to get you an in-service with them on that, just so you know how to go down and look at stuff. Because if you had a channel that was out, say like channel 25 wasn't playing or 26 wasn't playing, you need to be able to know where to go look, and could they have a monitor, a little 20-inch monitor that you could go in and channel change and see if, you know, if it's out there before you call them. But anyway, all these channels now, used to you had to have a box for every channel, like a DirecTV box for every channel. Now it's all in a server about that size. And each server can do 48 channels of TV. So they're taking those 48 channels off the satellite dish and flipping them to fiber and putting them into the network, to the data network. And then those channels are all scoped to the same network section that I'm riding on. And then each one of these channels has an IP address, just like a TV has an IP, or I mean a computer has an IP address, every channel has an IP address. So in our software for all this menu stuff, we've got each channel set up with its own IP address that they gave us and told us that's what it is. So as you're channel surfing, you're actually channel surfing from, and I'm just making something up, 10.10.10.1 to 10.10.10.2 to 10.10.10.3, right? As you're channel surfing through the channel.
So they basically made
So-
each channel a web page, so to speak.
Right. So it's kind of the way it comes to you, right? So anyway, as you look up here on this plate, you see a coax outlet, but there's no coax cable. And that's why I'm telling you this, because there will never be a coax cable going.
But there is something behind the wall going somewhere to
There's
the
a
data
coax
center.
cable going
There's a
somewhere.
backbone structure.
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything.
Right, no,
Right, yeah, I mean.
but I mean, it's there.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not doing anything. So the way the TV channels come in here is just the same way my menus come in, and that is through this data cable right here, okay? Now, your, I know why that's probably not working now. So your IT, well, he told me he moved them all to the bottom plug. I think there's one room on the second or third floor that we had to use the top one, because the way that, where you put the bracket at, the plug was right there, and it would smash it if you pushed it over, so we moved it to the
Well,
top one.
what, my ignorance, I was leaving your room to hook the coax up.
Gotcha. Yeah, but you didn't know when you were out. Don't
No, he
worry.
knew,
I-
he knew. He's
I
like,
tried
this is
my
a stud,
best.
I'm using it.
I tried my best to keep them clear, so I had some places I didn't have an option.
No, I understand, I understand. So anyway, all you're gonna have on the back of this TV to hook it up, you've got a power cord, you've got a data cable that goes 99.9% of the time, it's the bottom plug, okay? And then on the side of the TV, there's a LAN port or a computer port. There's only one port on this television that it fits into, so you
Okay.
can't screw that up,
Okay.
okay?
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
And then over here, if you notice, if you'll notice on this plate, I'm going to unplug this one. See, that one's beige, and the rest of them are white. The jack in the wall is beige rather than white. That one is for the crossroom connect to the pillow speaker.
I saw that on the back.
And this one, this is an RJ45 that plugs in here. And then if you go back around to the other side, on the back of the TV, there's only one place for that little plug to plug into, and it says pillow only, isn't it?
Pillow
Yeah,
out.
pillow out, excuse me, pillow out, right there. Pop that thing in, and that's your connection to the nurse call. So that is all there is to this.
And the audio for the television.
It goes through the pillow.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So whenever I program the TV, it goes through over here, right? So anyway, yeah, I know, so,
Cheap,
yeah.
cheap mounts.
Yeah. And well, they're really not because they're OSHPA proof.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though.
They have a stamp
They got a
on them
lot
for
of
OSHPA.
flex. They got a lot of
No,
flex in them.
They do, they do. So, so anyway, so that's the only three connections on the back is power cord, the data cord, and the crossroom cable, and that's it. So whenever this thing is, let's say that you walk in and you have no control with the pillow speaker, right?
I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yes.
where's the power button? Power? There's no power.
On the pillow.
There is.
Well, it's on the
But
back.
I've locked them out.
Oh, did you lock
Okay. So it's always on?
Yeah.
When you plug it in, it's on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the way we set these is these TVs are set up to be in a mode called virtual on. So even when you hit the power button off, it just kind of puts it into a sleep setting. It doesn't power it completely down.
But the screen will go dark.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
screen goes dark.
I just turned this one off.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're gonna get when it's
Yeah.
off.
So-
and
so
you
if
can see
you-
the little red light, the
So,
red
See how
LEDs.
that just came right
Power
back
right here?
whenever he did that?
Go ahead, press it.
If we didn't set it in a virtual
See the red
on
LED on the
setting-
bottom right?
Then it comes on, right?
Yeah.
That comes on when you're in the off.
So the
virtual
light
off.
comes on when the TV's
Wait.
off?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably, is that at standby mode?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, if we didn't set this thing in that virtual on mode, every time you turn the TV on, it would go through a boot cycle for the interaction.
Because it's a
session.
computer.
Right. So, yeah, because the TV itself has a smart card in it, right? And the smart card is basically like a little PC that's built into these things, and that's what we're plugged into that LAN port, okay? So if for some oddball reason you walked in and the pillow speaker wasn't working whatsoever, now when I leave here, 100% of them will be working with the nurse call, or Kim will have a spreadsheet that says nurse call, connection problem, which means your West call guy has to come figure out what the problem is, right? So then the first thing that I would do if it was me walking into the room is always check my connection, always bring an extra pillow speaker and plug it in and make sure something's not busted on it. Secondly, I would
Who gives
always...
us the pillows? You or?
You'll
West
West Call.
West
Yeah,
Call.
we told them what model to order, but they'll probably have a small amount of spares. But the next thing I would do is come over and make sure that this is plugged into the right port, into that beige jack, and then make sure that the 1/8" plug is plugged all the way into that pillow out. Because I have seen sometimes, those plugs will pop out just a little bit. So just make sure that everything's plugged in solid and then try it again. If that didn't work for some reason, my last option would be I would just reach up here and pull the power cord to the TV. Oh, you know what? Scratch that. I just remember that I learned something new on this technology. As long as you have a master remote, then you can do this. If the pillow speaker's functioning, you can actually do this too. So we'll let it boot up real quick, and let me go ahead and hit the power button. So what you should, it's powering up there. Once it's booting, you should see all of this right here where it comes up with like Allen Technologies, that's the name of the company I work for, and you see it's updating channels, blah, blah, blah. It's just going through a boot sequence. Takes less than a minute for it to boot up. Now, I have seen, just to give you a heads up, because I see it right now, is I have seen where that temperature and stuff wasn't here, or this, whenever you do a fresh reboot is why I'm saying this. And I've seen that says January 1st, 1970, okay? If you'll give it about 30 to 45 seconds, what it's doing is it's checking into our server, and whenever they talk to each other and everybody's happy, then it'll pop up and it'll give you the current time and date and all that stuff. So don't freak out if you don't see that for a minute or so. Anyway, so that's boom, unplug it and plug it back in, and it should come back up to this, but you can do this off the pillow speaker or off of the master remote. If I hit, I believe it is 20, whoops, I didn't want to do that, let me give it a second, 2021. Let's see, yeah. If I just hit the sequence of 2021, it reboots that TV for
You
you.
don't have to press OK?
No. And you can do the
What
same
was the
thing off
number?
of,
2021?
yep, 2021. Okay? And if you can do the same thing off the remote control, and it'll do the same thing, okay? So,
Just get it on the,
yeah.
okay.
I wasn't prepared, I asked her to set up a training thing for us before I leave here, and then she said, can you do it at 2:30, which was 2 hours later, so I wasn't fully prepared to be able to do all this, so I will get documentation to you guys through her or somebody. But anyway, so, there's also gonna be a phone number that we're gonna give you in the documentation in case you run into a problem 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We always have somebody on call. We have about 4 people in our company that rotate an on-call situation. Now, if you call at 3 o'clock in the morning, it may take them a few minutes to call you back because you're calling somebody that's probably worked 8 hours during the day and they're on call and they're sleeping. So just, be aware of that. But they can actually walk you through, checking things out, okay? And one of the things that I want to show you too is if you do 2020 on the pillow speaker, and they may ask you to do this. Now, if everybody will kind of walk over this way, I'll explain to you why. Because they may ask you to do this in a troubleshooting scenario. They may ask you, say, hey, hit 2020 on the remote or on the pillow speaker, and it will tell you what the IP address of the TV is, what the MAC address of the TV is, and this is not, I'm not staying in this room, that's 666 on the end of it. And then, but anyway, there's important information. Most of this to me and you is just chicken scratch, right? I don't understand all of the stuff over here, but the IP and the MAC address, those are 2 very important things. And they may say to you on the phone, hey, can you hit 2020 on the pillow speaker or on the remote and tell me what the MAC address is or the IP address, and this is why, okay? Now, you can also, in here, you can also, run over here to like restart or reboot, and you can do another reboot from here. The reason I showed you the other one is because it truly is just 2021, and it's just like hitting that button, and you don't have to worry about all of this mess, right? And then if you just hit the exit, it'll take you right back to this stuff. And notice now, it's spoke to the server and everything's matched back up.
Okay, right here, right now I got one question.
Okay?
In case, the nurse call right there, it's not functioning, for some reason, can I turn on the TV? Like you said?
Now, well, hang on.
Okay.
When you say the pillow,
Can
when
you
say
use the
the-
TV?
This one right here, if like that, it's something wrong right here, right?
Right, okay.
Disconnected.
Yeah. The only way you can control, and you can control the menus and everything, but you gotta have a Samsung remote for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then
So,
it still go to the, it go to the server and everything is the same?
oh yeah, this
Mhm.
is a wired version of this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now you're not gonna have one of these for every TV location because these are hospital grade TVs and they're meant to work this way. They don't come with a remote with every TV.
But we
But-
have one, right? The
Yeah, there's like 3, I think, or 4 that got ordered with it, and I'm using a couple to do all this, and I'll leave them here for you. But, no, I think there's 3 or 4 in the box down there. I've only got, I had mine and I brought me and I got 1 out of the box, but I think there's at least 2 or 3 down there. But you can use this and use the arrows and the return button and stuff, and still you can maneuver. See, I can go over here and then go to TV, and I can type in, 25.
I'm just curious, what happens with the volume?
Oh,
Turn it up, let's see if that
No.
speaker works.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you
That's,
disconnect it right now.
yeah, that's one thing that you will not get.
Well, I was hoping maybe
but
this
no,
speaker here
no.
would feed,
No.
but it doesn't do that.
Okay, the thing is, most of the time, we walk on this, the floor. Is something wrong with this one right here, the picture? I don't care, I just want to see the TV.
Right.
You can't because it's interlocked with the nurse call.
So, why now? Basically, you cannot, because
Correct.
even you can turn on the TV but no sound, right?
Right.
But on that side right there, we just on the back, why they push the
Yeah,
button.
now,
not the
there's a
sound.
question.
And I'm
Is it
sure we'll have a
possible
couple of
if
those
we
too, right?
Unplug the pillow talk from that, can we run the volume up from the remote on the TV? Or is the sound turned off of the TV in your configuration?
It's turned off at the TV on my configuration.
Okay. And you can't show us how to turn that on in an emergency? Is it simple? Let's ask this first. Is it
Okay.
easy to do?
I'm gonna do it, you tell me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do 20, 20. Whoops, sorry, I gotta get out of TV first. I gotta get back to the menu. Because that 2020 only works on the menus. So if I go 2020, crud, operator error, 20, 20. And then be patient. And then I go to what's referred to as unlock TV menu. Unlock TV menu unlocks the control of my menu to the TV. Okay? So if I hit the OK button and then I hit mute 119 enter, then I get to the hospital's deal here, and then I go to pillow speaker. And I go to select external, and I make that
Internal.
main, and I hit return, I think this is gonna do it. And then I've gotta turn the TV off, and then turn the TV back on.
So it's not the end of the world, but it's a process.
Here's the problem that I have with this, is once you do that, there's a 97% chance that you guys will never come back through and set it back the right way. And here's the problem with that, okay? The volume coming out of there, you're gonna get my stepdad in here that needs a TV on 90,
You're right.
and everybody's gonna hear it out in the
Yeah.
hallway and complain. See what I'm saying?
Well-
So I don't like that option, only because that's what winds up happening, because we all get so busy that we don't go back and we don't fix now.
It's on the TV.
Okay. Because I gotta know how to do that to reverse it, because I'm the one that, everything on that TV, all the settings on that TV is on that one thumb drive, and I'll make sure that you guys get the files. Because if you ever change this TV out, you gotta do a couple of things.
Right.
Number one, you gotta load the file onto the side, into the TV. There's one USB port, and it's right here at the very top above the data, the LAN port, there's a USB port. You gotta pop this in, and you gotta go to that menu 119, and this will be in the instructions, but menu 119, enter, and then you go to the clone, and there's one that said cloning in there, and you go to USB to TV, so you're gonna clone from the USB to the TV. And that will set all the internal settings as they should be for you to put it in this room.
Except for the Mac and ID.
But then what you gotta do is you gotta get the MAC address off the TV. Let me show you real quick.
Are they written down anywhere, or?
No, you gotta do it right here. Let me-
Okay, because what if the TV dies and we can't open the TV to see what the MAC address is?
I don't care, on the new TV is what I wanna know. On the new TV that you're gonna put in.
Because it'll be a
that's what I-
different MAC address.
Oh, every
TV's gonna-
TV is independent for
Just
that.
like a computer, every
Okay.
computer's got a different MAC address, every cell phone's
Gotcha,
got.
okay, I get it.
Yeah. So if this menu 119 enter, that's how to get to these menus, right? And so inside of here, if you go to like system, and then go down to contact Samsung, and it will show you right here the wired MAC address, CC B11A5695010. Okay? So whenever you call my guys and say, I've got a TV that I need to put in and I need it to be on your system, right, on your E3 system, then they're gonna need that MAC address and they're gonna need the location that you're putting it in, which would be, in this case, it would be 2-212B.
Or B for this
Yeah,
one.
right. And then you would just close that out, and then you would hit the return button one more time, and then you would come over here to cloning, and then you would go to clone USB to TV, and you would pop this in the side, and it literally takes 22 seconds. I mean, just, and then you're done. And then, once he makes the changes on our back end to that new MAC address, and you reboot this TV, you should be to the menus. You should, it should come.
Should be
right
like
to the menus.
it never changed.
Right, yeah. Now, and there's a, why don't you connect that back up, because that's continuing to make a call out there.
Yeah.
So anyway, so to change one of these out is not that big a deal, but you have to involve.
Right, we
Picking the
can't
phone
do it
up.
all by ourselves.
Right. We could potentially train you to do it, but you gotta have a username and log in to get into our portal, and we would have to kind of train you how to
You
do it.
could train IT to do it and
It's
then
easier if you just pick the phone up.
Call you guys.
And give us the MAC address and the location of where the TV's going in, and then it takes
Yeah.
us a few minutes to take care of it. So let me set this TV back, and then I wanna go to 2 other locations around outside here.
So you're gonna do menu 119?
Yeah, well, the first thing I gotta do is,
Get down to TV, right?
get back here. I gotta hit 20. I gotta unlock the TV menu, and I gotta hit mute 119, enter. Then, I wanna go to pedal speaker, and I wanna go to this one, set it back to external. And for this, and one of the settings that's on this file is you want to make sure that that pillow speaker is set to CS, because they come out of the box brand new as CZ. But CS is what is the right setting, but anyway, it's all on
Yeah.
this stuff here.
On the flash drive, right?
Yeah, it's on the flash drive, yeah. So, then I gotta turn the TV off. Wait a few seconds.
And I assume we are gonna get a couple of those
That will be
speakers,
from
right?
Westcom.
Okay.
Yeah, for Westcom.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's, normally there's
Should be a
a
dozen, we should have a
small,
dozen.
Yeah.
there's a
just
small
there, you know.
percentage, that they.
I mean, that's, I assume we should have a couple
Yeah.
extra.
I tell you why, you know,
I'd like to see a
sometimes,
case of
sometimes
that.
they put it right here and drop the water.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep.
And it's-
Or
We
they
get
took to the bed
crunched
and they rolled
in
that
the-
out, and even with the quick connect, it's still down.
Did you do that?
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't gonna let it get dirty.
No, I'm sorry. Kim told me to go ahead and take them off.
Yeah.
Okay, so these televisions are what I'm referring to as a miscellaneous location. So this is a community room where people can come in and hang out. There's also your waiting rooms, out on the corners. So I know that the 6th floor, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd all have miscellaneous, or waiting rooms. This is the only floor that has this room in it. And then you're downstairs, and there's a list of these locations, but downstairs you put up a TV, like on the B1 level as you walk in, the intake waiting, there's one in pharmacy waiting, there's one somewhere else, I can't remember the location name of it, but anyway, there's a handful, a very small handful of these televisions. These do not run by menus, these are going to be TV only, okay? These locations, someone will have to have a remote in order to function these, okay? You can, I am leaving the ability to channel change on the back
Okay.
here. But to turn it on and off and to adjust the volume, they don't have the control to be able to do that, okay? So I'm trying to leave the volumes set at kind of a low volume, because you don't need these, because the volume's gonna come out of the TV, right? And you don't want the TV ramped up to 80 with 10 people sitting in here. So this is really, just for people to kill time.
Is there a way to do SAP on it?
What do you mean?
The subtitles?
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Actually, I think I set all of the stuff in there, so these do not, let's see. Okay. If I don't see this quickly, I'll just move on. This is where you lock or unlock those panel buttons.
Okay.
And you can adjust this, like if you wanted it set to power on volume of 20 instead of 10 or whatever, you can adjust that right here. And I set the maximum to 80 instead of 100 because nobody needs to ramp this thing up to maximum volume. I don't see,
I don't see a sound other than this.
what I really want to do is like the internal, just the basic menu. Anyway, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Okay, so this particular TVs, any of these miscellaneous locations, all they're gonna have is they're gonna have a power cord and they're gonna have the data cable. They don't have that cross-room cable to them because you're controlling them only by this. Because these TVs do not have my menus on them, they're only TV again. So, but they are still receiving the signal via the IP stream. They're not through a coax or anything like that. Okay? So, in this case, you know, I just left it on the program guide, but anyway, you can just set it on a channel and it'll play all day in here for them. So, and that's all these TVs are. But with these TVs, I have a different clone for these. So, and you'll get a copy of this one too, and these will be for any, what I refer to as IPTV only, not a patient room menu driven, just IPTV only. So these, when you pop them in, you go to the clone, it'll set everything, and then you just reboot the TV. So if you came in here and had to replace this TV, you don't need us.
Right.
Okay? You just need these files, because these files have all the IP addresses of each channel. And so here's the thing. If DirecTV were to ever come up and you guys say, hey, add me another 48 channels to the network, right? There's a new clone got to be built.
Right.
And you'd have to go to each TV and pop it in and upload it, and then everything would work fine. On our patient room locations, they would just have to give us those additional 48 IP streams, and we would do it, you know, remotely, and you wouldn't have to interact with that part. We could control that through our menu software stuff. But on these are independent from me and everything, and so these are strictly, you physically got to go walk around to them and change. Okay? So let's hop across the hall. On the second floor, you've got, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 16 of these on this floor. And these are what I refer to as a swing arm television. And basically starting right here on room 210 and going all the way almost to the end, the next to the last room is a big screen TV. But all of these are swing arms, and then rooms 200 and 201 are dual rooms, and they have swing arms in them. Then on the third floor and the fourth floor, it's only this corner and that corner on the far ends. When you get to the sixth floor, there's none of these, because the $1 million view room down on the end has big screen TVs, and yet it doesn't have the little ones. Okay?
And also in ED observation, there's 4 of them.
Yes, there's 4 in observation, right? Yeah, I forgot about those. So, so what is that, like 28 or something, 26, 28 of these is basically what you're gonna have. So you may or may not have seen a similar version of this by PDI, which was like the old little tube TVs, little 9-inch tube TVs that were on an arm. Well, they've, gotten a little more high-tech since then. And they've actually had flat screens for a while. But this particular flat screen is a Android tablet, really is what it is. Now, because we're doing IPTV the way that we are, you're not even using the TV side of this. You're only using the tablet side. Because the tablet side is what we're running all of our menus and stuff on, okay? So when you look at this, and we haven't dressed the cables down yet, but whenever you look at this, you're gonna see there's a coax cable on this that goes up through the arm. Then in the throat of the arm, like if you were to just snap this, anybody got a screwdriver on, like a flat, Phillips? Hang on.
Anything you want.
Yeah, we'll get that the rest of the way out. Okay, and if you notice, these are just held together, little pins in the plastic. That you're gonna remove, if you'll take those two out real quick, and I'll show you. Has anybody ever changed one of these arms out in their lifetime? No? Okay, let me, anybody, so you know. Has either one of you guys ever been kicked by a mule?
No.
Okay, then you want to listen to what I'm going to tell you, because if you like your teeth, you want to listen to what we're going to tell you.
Okay.
So the way these arms come from the factory is they are bent up in a scissored, what I refer to as a scissored. Let me see this for a second. And they typically have this little pin, this bolt with these nuts on them, and notice there's a hole right here. And when you scissor that up, you slide that in, and now it won't kick out. Because if you remove this off the end of this arm without putting that pin in, 9 out of 10 times it will not open up and kick on you. But 1 out of 10 times you may lose a jaw out of the deal. Because I don't know how many hundred of torque pound there is, but there's a springs in this. And if this thing gets bumped while you've got this off, it could, now that's okay for it to kick like that, but this thing could kick and go boing and just pop straight all the way out to here. And if you're standing in the pathway of it, you're going to get a face full of it, right? So it's very, very, very important to remember. Every one of these that we install, I just take this little bolt right here, and I just drop it right inside. Oh, sorry, you want?
Take it right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just drop them right inside here so that they're easy and accessible for you, okay?
Good to know.
Yep, yeah, and I'm a little dramatic about it, but there's a reason, and I've seen people get hurt with that. This is your IT guy, just a second. I'm gonna stretch this back out for a second. So this mount that you put up, you probably noticed, has a power cord coming off of it, because this thing puts out 24 volts of power.
Okay.
And the reason that you have a coax coming out of this arm, if you notice, it goes to RF/AC out. Okay, is what it says. That means that if we were to put RF signal in right here, which we're not because this is IPTV, but some hospitals do that. They put the signal in through the RF. But it will take the cable signal and put 24 volts of AC on it and run it through this arm to this junction. Now this junction, this is a stub coming out of the top of this PDI, and this is the other end of this coming through the arm. And when you screw those together, number one, unplug it, okay? Because you can arc it. I mean, I have seen them arc. I have personally never seen one of these get toasted because of it, but it could happen, right? So the safe thing to do, especially with oxygen in the room anyway, is just unplug it and then screw it together and then plug it back up. Because this cable right here provides power to power this tablet up, okay? Then your other end is the bottom port on the data, and it just goes right into this little junction for the data port, right? This cable, you should never have to worry about, because this is a way to upgrade that tablet if need be, and those, it'll go back somewhere for you. You won't have to do that on site, if that were to ever happen. Then I usually just take them and fold them and lay them right down inside, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to pinch anything, and just kind of really nicely fold them in. Now, these, if you just beat that down, you're going to snap one of those little,
it's a spring nut.
yeah. So you want to just kind of take it and make sure that you snug it in there, and then he can put those right back on. If for some reason the front arm sags, like if you know, and I'll show you as soon as you put that other screw in there what I mean by that. Push it, yeah. Okay. So let's say that you extend this arm out and it doesn't stay just like that right there, right? It starts going and sagging down. See this little horseshoe collar right here? There's one on each side. And you can take just an Allen wrench and just snug it just a little bit, one little half turn on each side, and then try it again and see if it stays where it's supposed to. Okay? That's just an adjustment to help with the sagging. Same thing on the back. If you move this and it starts going brrr on the back arm, then you'll make an adjustment to just torque it just a little bit, and it'll help keep the firmness of the arm in place. Okay? And then, you know, there's these covers. All these are plastic fancy covers. I mean, it's all they are. All they're doing is just kind of covering up the nuts and bolts of what this thing is like. There was a cover that was supposed to go here, but because of this recess, the way that it is, it wouldn't fit, so I just had to leave it off. But
Did you leave us those covers if we want to try to modify them?
I think they're already in the probably should have put my mouth shut.
I got that on tape.
At the bottom, there's a reset switch. So if for some reason that reset switch got flipped, you know, it's just like a little
Toggle
power,
switch.
yeah, a little toggle switch. So if you came in and there was no power to this unit, you might want to check that toggle switch, you know, to make sure that it didn't get flipped or whatever.
The old ones had a fuse, right? On PDI?
Yeah, the old ones had a fuse. I don't know that these have, I haven't been in the
It's on the
internal
bottom, just
guts.
like that
Yeah.
reset.
Yeah, this one now is just a reset,
Okay, so it's
and I'm
taken
not
place.
sure if you open that up, it may have a,
So that's probably the fuse. It's
Yeah, I
probably
think
just a
it reset
resettable
took away
fuse.
it. Gotcha, face the fuse, gotcha.
okay. So you notice that on this plate, that they put a beige jack and a coax and all that kind of stuff. I think they thought that the nurse call was gonna tie into this, and somehow the nurse call was gonna control this, but it's not. This is all touchscreen. So they actually pulled that wire and jacked it and everything, just like in the patient rooms, but it's not gonna do it. We're not hooking to it. So, okay, with this is exactly the same menu screens that you just saw in there, just on a smaller version. But now, we just use our finger and go to it, and now there's like a done button, so once you are done, you just hit that, and it takes me back a menu. Other than that, this is the exact same set of menus. And you've got except for the date and times at the top. This unit does not display the temperature and stuff like that. That's a feature of that TV or something that did that.
So this one, why you're not gonna be control on this?
No,
No.
no. This is strictly touchscreen. Yeah.
And the sound come off the tablet?
Yep. So if we go to TV, oh, you know what? This isn't working yet. I'm sorry. We're still working on the software part for the IPTV part on this one. You're not going to see any of this either. Normally, if what it's going to look like when I'm finished is it'll come to this lock screen is what the patient's going to see, and it tells them tap the lock to unlock the tablet, and they do that, and it just brings them back to the menus or whatever. I've got it unlocked at the moment so that I can continue doing my stuff to it, and you can see all these apps. And this Allen Technologies app is the one that gets you, to the thing. But you should never really mess with that side unless you're on the phone with one of the guys. And there's no 20/20 on this one. They have to do it
They have
remotely
to
and
wake it up
unlock
for you.
it, and then let you get in to do something to check something out. And so on these models, if for some reason that you have to replace one of these, and eventually you will, right? There's going to be some spare TVs and spare tablets and spare arms that we'll leave here, and Kim will sign off on them, and give them to Michelle. But if for some reason, you guys have smartphones? Do you know how to get to your setting in your smartphone? Okay, this is Android, okay? So if I go to settings, boom, right there, looks very similar to an Android cell phone, right? I go down here to about my tablet, and I go to status, and it tells me what the IP address is, and it tells me what that MAC address is. And again, the guys on the other end of the phone are going to want to know what that MAC address is with a new tablet. Now with this, with the tablet, we don't have a thumb drive for you to pop in to upload everything. So I will put it into a document, but they're going to have to possibly step you through. So if you put a new one in, make sure that the Wi-Fi setting is off. You just that's on and that's off. And then you'll go under security, and you're going to tell it that you want to be able to do unknown sources. You go to date and time, make sure you've got it set for Pacific time. Go in here and get them that information. And then one of the important things too is if you tap the build number 7 times, I believe it is, it opens up this developer option. And this developer option lets you click on stay awake. Because here's what I forgot to set that yesterday. And what happens is when these go to sleep, they drop their IP address. So, and then when you turn them back on, it takes it, a little bit to come back up. When you hit the stay awake, it's kind of the same way over there with that virtual on,
sleep.
to where it just kind of
Or
puts it to
standby.
sleep, but it keeps the IP address and everything comes right back snappy. It creates a much snappier environment for it to work. So anyway, I wasn't planning on getting into all this back end stuff, but anyway, this is what the patients are going to see from a menu.
Is it possible for you to kill that icon on these PDIs? Because that's going to confuse the patients.
What do you mean?
Well, this is how to use the nurse call, West call, or is that?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, take out the
I wasn't
icon.
thinking about that.
Take that, well, it doesn't look like it does anything anyway.
Well,
Or does it take time?
This one it does. My guys have actually been, the movies and the games weren't playing, and but that's a good idea. I wasn't thinking about
Yeah,
that.
because on these PDIs, you're going to get a lot of confusion because they're going to be going there, grabbing that thing, trying to turn their TV on and off.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, so. Oh, come on, it's got a timeout. So, anyway, so this is the third option, and these are just gonna fold up and go back beside the bed. So, so that's the 3 different things that I'm installing, and it's just the big screens in the room with all the menus. It's the little screens on the swing arms with the menus, and then just your miscellaneous type locations. So here's the cool thing about adding TVs to this type of an environment, right? I've worked for 21 years in hospitals, pretty much exclusively all over the country. And when I started, everything, of course, was coax, everything was analog TV, everything was, 19-inch tube TVs, right, that you had, or those little small 9-inch on the end of an arm TV or something. And over the years, as technology's grown, and now we're at the level of this IPTV solution. One of the things with coax that you guys have probably experienced, you guys have probably done in your years over there, is that, hey, we need a new TV put over here. So you go up in the ceiling, you find where the coax is at, you cut it, and you throw a splitter in there, run your cable to that place, and boom, you got a new TV. Now here's what happens after you do that 2 or 3 times, the picture quality looks like garbage, right? And I've seen that, I've chased it, I've fixed them all over the country with the coax system. With this system, it's very cut and dry, okay? If you need a new TV mounted out here on the wall, all you gotta do is get your IT guys to pull a data cable back to the switch, just like this right here, right? Then they have to set that switch up to look at the VLAN that we're running on. And just like right across the hall over there, you can, pop the thumb drive in, boom, and you've got a TV running in no time, once that data cable's pulled. So the key to success is, who deals with TVs mostly? All of you?
All of
Or
us, yeah.
All of us, okay. So the key to success is talk to us and don't just go buy TVs, okay? Because not all TVs are IPTV ready, okay? Hospital grade is important because you're in a hospital. So Samsung makes them and LG makes them, and that's really the only two right now that make an IPTV ready set. So, and some models, and if you went to a catalog and opened it up and said, okay, look at there's 100 different models. It's like I stopped at, I was walking back to my hotel and I stopped at the Lori's Diner, right, on the way down the hill yesterday to my hotel down toward Union Square. And I go in and they hand me a menu. That menu's that thick, right? You can get breakfast all day and there's 3 pages of that. And you can go to the appetizers and you got all this different stuff. Well, what it doesn't tell you if you look at that stuff is you got to know what you're looking for an IPTV ready set, right? So that's the key to success on these systems. So you want to make sure that, we get you the right thing. And we're pretty easy to work with. And I know Michelle used to work at Salinas Hospital, and we've had that as a client of ours for 12, 15 years. And, now here we take care of the new Rideout Hospital that's being built over, is it Yorba Linda? Does that sound right? Above Sacramento. They're building a new hospital over there. We're doing that one. Porterville, Santa Barbara Cottage, bunch in LA, and stuff. So, we have a heavy presence in California, but we actually spread all the way to Boston, and I live in Arkansas. So, we're all over the country. But we'll be glad to help you make sure you get the right stuff. So, like the mounts that are in those rooms, those were specific picked mounts because they have a OSHPD stamp approval on them. You can just go buy brackets, but they're not all OSHPD approved, and that's why you said inexpensive bracket. I was like, no, it's not.
Well, yeah.
They got to pay themselves back for that $25,000 or whatever it was, 50 or whatever to get it approved. So, anyway, any questions that you can think of?
Now, we're going to be adding monitors into the conference rooms probably.
But you're not putting them on the TV system that I know.
Oh, those aren't going to be on the TV system. Okay.
I think those are strictly just monitors.
Okay, like the nurse call
Right.
up on the 4th or 5th floor.
Right. So we sold you 4 NEC monitors for the ORs. They're those 46-inch NECs, but we have nothing to do with them. We just sold them to you,
Okay.
right? And so somebody's gonna hook a computer to it.
There,
It's
yeah, I think it's
gonna
already done.
display something
Yeah.
for those doctors while they're in the OR. Your conference rooms, we didn't provide those for you, but those, my understanding, what I was told, was they're going to be connected to the boardroom conference tables that will have multiple inputs like HDMIs or VGA or whatever, so that people can plug into them, their computer
Right.
to them and show stuff. So that's what those kind
Okay.
of are. You've just got a small handful of actual TVs that are miscellaneous, not in a
Right.
patient room throughout the building.
Okay.
Matter of fact, your break rooms, they took those out.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 break rooms and they took those
Yeah,
out.
5 of them actually.
Oh, 5 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. You got some holes, somebody's got
Yep.
to patch it.
Yep.
So, I noticed, but anyway.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, great. Thank you very much.